This video is going to be a single leg RDL or a single leg deadlift, and we're going to be using a foam roller for assist. So what Nick's going to do is first show us a more typical single leg deadlift so we can explain a little bit about why we're going to use the foam roller. A lot of what we typically see as we teach clients single leg deadlifts is people will struggle with knowing how active to keep the leg that they are not standing on. So if Nick shows us what a rep or two might look like in the sense where this back leg doesn't necessarily do its job, what we're going to see is it looks a little bit more like a golfer's pickup where Nick's going to have a slightly rounded spine. He's not going to have sat into his right hip, in this case being his standing hip, as effectively as he could because he's losing tension out of his back leg. So as Nick stands up for us, what we'll see Nick do is use a long, straight arm on this left side to lock the foam roller. This could be a dowel or something in place of the foam roller at home, from his hand to his foot. That's going to make sure neither of these joints move and they stay connected as Nick then hinges again down into a single leg RDL. And we're going to see that the activity of this back leg has now made it a lot more feasible for Nick to keep his spine straight and for him to load his right glute effectively. So as Nick starts to show us a few reps here, what we're going to look for is Nick maintaining his weight right over the middle of his tripod foot. If Nick goes a little bit too far towards his heel, we're going to see Nick get really stiff with his knee, and he's going to feel way too much stretch in his hamstring. If Nick goes to his toes, what we'd find is that it turns more into a squat, and it's that he's feeling it in his quad. So when we get right back to that middle of the foot is where we're going to find the sweet spot, where yes, the hamstring's gotten a little bit of tension, but we've more isolated that glute in terms of how we can drive that initial tension from the lower, and that's going to help us get then a contraction or a stand back up to the top. The final thing that will help people feel that glute when they're hinging down towards the ground is that we'll see Nick's hip height here at a certain level, where as he lowers, we're going to see, like a spring, his leg compresses and folds just a bit. And then as he unfolds and stands up, that's going to be a portion of what puts pressure into the ground and helps that glute contract. We're going to make sure that we've got a solid hand support to the side so that this exercise is less limited by balance and is more something where we can learn this single leg RDL or hip hinging form. Perform for the prescribed amount of sets and reps.